There have been so many people that have tried to figure out Boston. We're scrappy. We're an international city that could get hit with 3 feet of snow on any given day and still be expected to get to work. Fuck you, I'm going to work anyway. I have 4-wheel drive. I don't need the National Guard to bail my ass out. I'll put my truck in 4-wheel and I'll get to work and I'll be 10 minutes late and I'll stop at Dunkin' Donuts on the way.
If you're a freak like me, if you're a freak like me, if you're a freak like me.
Boston's rock station, WAAF. It's Carrie reporting for duty on the 17th of April, the year 2013. Today is New Black Sabbath Day here at WAAF. So I suggest you hold on to your balls because this is New Black Sabbath.
I mean, most of our audience is men, and I'm more of a guy than a lot of guys, so that's my job to know what they like, because we've been dating for 15 years. AAF.
Hi, could I get the next hookup?
Yeah, what do you want to hear?
Needle in the Damage Done by Our Lady Peace.
Oh my God, random party for one, your table is ready. I had basically got myself convinced that I was like gonna quit. And Opie kind of looked at me and he goes, Carrie, you just walked out of the program director's office of one of the most influential rock stations in one of the biggest markets in the country. And he basically just offered you a job and you said no. Are you stupid? Like, what is your problem? Turn around, walk back down the hall, apologize for being an idiot, and tell him yes, you're interested, yes. So the program director at the time said, be in my office by 5 o'clock tomorrow. And at like 6:45, he walked with his hand on, like in between my shoulder blades, walked me down the studio, opened up the big soundproof door, pushed me into the studio and said, figure it out, kid, and turned around and walked away. And I was just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? It's not a normal thing to sit in a padded room with a microphone and talk to yourself and not feel completely crazy, because it's your instinct to get in front of a microphone and feel like you need to broadcast and I'm talking to you, and that's not what you're supposed to do, at least not in this format. They said, just talk to one person. So I bought Mr. Potato Head. And for years, I sat in the studio with Mr. Potato Head on the console. And I talked for years, every night for 5 hours to Mr. Potato Head. And that's how I learned. And it sounds so stupid, and I know that I look like a complete jerk right now sitting here having a conversation with Mr. Potato Head, but like, it works. I bought a plastic friend that stores his emotions in his butt. You look at AAF and you look at its history, and we were all raised here. We all grew up listening to the radio station. We all know what it's like to be a listener, and we'll probably all be listeners after we stop working here for whatever reason. Behind this flag in this cabinet is the archive of my entire radio career. I finally got my mother to admit live on the radio that she smoked pot.
Yeah, don't even lie, because Dad told me a long time ago that he had to marry you because you're the only woman he ever met that could outdrink him.
Well, that part was
You are
probably
a party
true.
animal.
Well,
You smoke pot. Just say, yes, Carrie, I smoke pot. Just say it. Come on, Ma.
all right, yes, Carrie, I smoke
Yeah!
pot.
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
If Mom's getting a tattoo, I'll go with her.
It's my little sister Karen, the Baroness, the Madam, the Mistress, and the Baroness.
I think part of the reason that I can do my job is because I'm twisted. And that comes from family. I mean, when you grow up with a nurse and a firefighter as parents, not only are making jokes about anatomy and bodily functions normal at the dinner table.
Because, I mean, what else do you do when you're in elementary school and you're talking about decapitation at the dinner table?
You know, at this point in 2013, we all have the ability now to just fire up our respective playlists. And there's a temptation to put a muzzle on everybody and just play music. And there are some stations that operate that way, and for now operate quite successfully that way. In the long haul, you know, I have my questions there. So as soon as you key that microphone, you better capture their attention right away, particularly if they're in the car, because they're only an arm's reach away from punching you out.
I think it's so funny, and people have said this to me so many times, like they'll come up to me and say, you know, I hear you on the radio all the time, and I always thought you were like old and fat and like smoking cigarettes. That's a compliment. In there somewhere, it's a compliment. And I always say like, wow, okay, thanks. That's what my voice sounds like an old fat lady smoking Pall Malls or something. It took me years to be okay with the fact that I'm gonna be judged based on just being me. And if they like it, great. You know, if they don't, fuck them. I just think after a while you get tired of becoming a different person. You just wanna be you. And so I think I just started being me.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Katrina, who lives about 5 blocks, would you say, Katrina? From
7.
7 blocks from the World Trade Center. Saw the entire thing happen out of her window. And how are you a different person having gone through this and having seen it firsthand?
Well, I feel like I watched people die and I couldn't do anything about it. And that was horrible, and I know that I couldn't do anything, because even when I went down, they were telling me to leave. But I'm here in my apartment, and I'm watching these people jump out of windows. And these are people like me and you. These are people that went to work and go to work every day and think they're safe. And it's just changed everybody. This has changed everybody. It's not only changed people that actually saw it like me, but it's changed the world. It's changed America.
So when 9/11 happened, everybody knew that we were going to war. And for me, I just started thinking about my mom's generation and stories about Vietnam, and the soldiers were getting spit on and called baby killers, and you could just see how those guys were just left and abandoned by us when they came home. Especially when you're here and you're watching the news and they're saying stuff like the soldiers don't have body armor, or, you know, the soldiers aren't safe, or the military's not giving them what they need. And, you know, I always, you know, would say, well, if my generation ever went to war, we wouldn't make those same mistakes. We wouldn't make those same mistakes. We would take care of our guys the way they should be taken care of. And then we got our chance. Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and welcome to Kabul. It's AAF to Afghanistan, and we are embedded with the 26th MEB and the 182nd Infantry from the Massachusetts Army National Guard, and it's day 1. So we're gonna go and get acquainted with the base and kind of take a tour around, and you can see where all of our local guys are living and what they're doing for work and kind of what this base looks like. So come and check it out.
I was surprised for a female to walk into an all-male unit. She held her own.
Purple hair.
Purple hair,
no
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
Just from my experiences and past deployments, tend to stay away from media. You know, very selfish guys. Guys didn't really care. They were just there to take pictures and get a paycheck. And she actually just had genuine interest in all the guys and getting to know everybody and seeing what was going on, you know.
So our families get to see that they're letting the radio DJ out in the patrols. Maybe they're not in as much danger as we think, you know. So it kind of eases their minds a little bit in that aspect.
They're already thinking like, oh God, you know, what's happening in that area, you know. We don't have a lot of time to explain things. Like I didn't want to tell my wife, you know, oh yeah, we got shot at today, or we did this, you know. And
she was the first radio DJ to become an embedded reporter.
I wanted people to know this is what these soldiers are doing overseas. And not just guys that they can watch on the news. Guys that are from their hometowns, where they grew up, from their state, and the audience knows that I'm there, and I can tell them what it smells like, and I can tell them what it feels like.
My old man never listened to WAAF at all. just not his thing. He was a country guy, always a country guy. And when they found out she was coming over, and I said that I'd be with her the whole time, he listened to the interviews and sit there with a tape recorder and try to record the interview over the radio, that kind of thing. Well, he died a few months after I got back, and I remember after he died, I jumped in his truck to start his truck up, and this is months after I had been home, and his radio station was still on WAAF, and like that was his thing, is that he would listen to her show every day.
She's one of us. She's not like some chick we meet at a bar or one of our wives who they've never been there, they don't get it. She's been there, she understands, and she's taken that time out of her life when she didn't have to. She never signed up for that. She never signed a contract. She didn't get forced into it. Something she chose to do, which is, I respect the hell out of her for it.
When things like that do happen in your community, that's what we're there for. We can just turn the mic on and be live. That camaraderie, that bond that we have, there isn't anything better than that, especially when you need to come together and close ranks because of a tragedy. It was such a tragic day in the city, but for anybody that has ever lived here or that is from here, every Bostonian was instantly filled with pride at how people reacted down there. They were instantly focused, instantly organized, and instantly pissed. A lot of people forget that those first responders, they're victims in this whole thing too. They were there. So Tuesday night, we spent the night handing out meals to the cops and the soldiers and anybody that was hungry and anybody that needed a coffee, and a lot of them did, and just talking to them and finding out how they were doing, because I knew the faces, I knew those guys.
And that's why we're still friends to this day. We all go out and hang out still. We go have a few drinks, and we have a great time. Because we consider her one of the guys, really.
And good luck trying to hurt Carrie's feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not on your ball busting game, God help you, because she'll destroy you.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
Draw in, and then blow out. Okay, now do that twice. Go in, out, in, out. Slow. No.
Oh.
Don't stop. Whatever you do, don't stop. Ladies and gentlemen.
That is like one of the highlights of my entire life.